I I really think that the Chicago Bears really have a chance. That's why I took Dallas out. Yeah, I scratched them off before I made my final five because I was no. They were at the bottom anyway. They were the last of the choices that I had, and I said no. There's too much of a question mark that Chicago could really win this, and that was before the injury news with Dallas's DB. So good thing I didn't choose that one because I'm glad I'm not on this. So far, the top five favorites have not been doing well. I think it was 0-5 week one, and I want to say 2-3 week two. So 2-8 if you had the top five selections in Circa. Number three, the Los Angeles Rams, one of the best games of the weekend. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, that great game in the snow in Philly, and came right down to the last drive. And now we're getting LA plus 3.5. Again, this was another selection that I got off of today because I just couldn't figure out which side I really felt was going to win this game. And if Philly wins this game, then I think they might win by four or more. And they could certainly do it because even though those games were close, if you go back and look, the LA Rams played Philly in the regular season last year before that playoff game. Saquon Barkley ran all over them. He had, like, I want to say close to like 400 yards between the two games, the playoff game and the regular season game. This offensive line is just meant to bully smaller, underweight lines. And yes, LA's got Poona Ford, a guy they didn't have last year, but they're built to rush the passer. They're not really built to stop the run. And I think LA is just going to be able to do what they've done before, which is run the ball, use Jalen Hurts' legs, run the play action. We haven't even seen A.J. Brown come alive yet this season. He's on my fantasy team. I actually benched him because I was tired of him not doing anything in these games with Philly's offensive philosophy being much more run oriented, and he's been more of a decoy than anything else. But so yeah, Rams plus 3.5 was really on my radar. I mean, I actually had it up. I made my slide that I have for the five picks. I had all that ready to go. I had that one ready for number four as well, Houston. Another game that I got off of, but I had too many questions about this LA Rams Eagles game to go one way or another. And the 3.5, it just seemed like bait. Like, look, you're getting more than a field goal with a Rams team. McVay, great on the East Coast, right? Great against the spread. They got Devontae Adams to go with Puka. They've upgraded their defense, but their offensive line hasn't been that great. And this Philly defense and the Philly offense, especially their offensive line, I think is going to be able to keep them in it. And if I think Philly's going to win the game, then I don't want to say, well, I think they'll lose, but they'll cover the spread because that doesn't happen most times. The team that wins normally covers. So I got off the Rams, but obviously that's number three, so that was a good decision by me because I didn't want to be in the top five. I'm looking to score points and with winners that are unpopular. Next up, same exact thing. Houston plus 1.5. 1,445 people chose the Texans. Why? Because they watched them on Monday Night Football almost beat the Bucks. And yes, they played the Rams as well. They've played two very good defenses, two good teams offensively. Offensively, did he make it? All right, we got some points for Indiana or for Illinois, so it's not as bad as it was. Oops. Yeah, they're going to be top 10 team if this continues. But so I got off of Houston. I was the more I looked at it and the more I looked at their offensive line, even though I know they're getting Christian Kirk back, Kayami Lassiter and Petrie and Stingley. I mean, they've got some really good DBs and a good defense. But they're not built to stop the run. And I think Jacksonville, they've been really good at running the ball. Liam Cohen throwing screen passes to the running backs. They Justin or Trevor Lawrence. He needs to be a little more accurate with his throws and protect the ball, particularly in the red zone. But this is week 3 of a new offense for this guy who's been in multiple offenses over his career. But he's got guys in Hunter. I don't think the Brian Thomas Jr. drops is a big deal. You know, I can remember when Jamar Chase was a rookie, when he first started, he had some drop issues the first couple games, and people are like, is he a bust? Is he a bust? This, that, calling Jamar Chase a bust. Now look at him. He's like arguably the best wide receiver, top 2 or 3 wide receivers in the game right now. So I think Brian Thomas Jr. will get the drop issues figured out. Obviously, Travis Hunter's a rookie, so he's still working himself into the NFL game. But they've got the pieces, man. They've got the game plan. I think they've got the coach. Their defense has been opportunistic. They had, 3 interceptions in that game? They should have beat the Bengals, but it was just a comedy of errors at the wrong time and bad penalties that really cost them in that game. But those are things they can correct. So I dropped Houston, again, another team that I had made a slide for as one of my top 5 selections that I got off of. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of actually 5. All 5 of these teams I had slides made. Well, one of them. 3 of them I had slides made for that I was going to use that I got off of. So I'm really glad that I've played the teams that I've played. Because I think Jacksonville and Houston's played both games at home. And they've been in a dome. Now they got to go outside and play in that Jacksonville, Florida humidity. It's still hot and sticky in September in Florida. Trust me, I grew up in Central Florida. I know. And Houston's they could wilt, especially their defense. If they're chasing these guys around all game by the fourth quarter, you could see this defense struggling against these receivers and these backs. And the Jacksonville Jaguars getting a win. A win, they should have had one last week. What is this line then if they don't lose that game to the Bengals? The 5th most popular selection with 1,198, basically 1,200 choices. Well, if there's only 1,200 there, I wonder if there is 1,000 on the Broncos. Because I've seen some. If you go on X and go under the hashtag Circa Sports Million VII, some people will post their picks after they submit them to their proxies, but before the deadline. And I saw some people were on Denver. So I'd like to see how many there are. But if there's only 1,200 on the 49ers, the ones that are 6 through 10 got to be within a 1,000 selection range. But 49ers, another team that I liked in the beginning, but the Juwan Jennings injury, the Trent Williams injury news throughout the week that Juwan Jennings wasn't practicing, Williams wasn't practicing. I mean, how many more injuries can this offense suffer and expect the defense to keep them in these games? I mean, yes, Mac Jones played well for us last week. I was on San Francisco. They got us the cover, but that was against the New Orleans defense that wasn't getting very much pressure on the quarterback and had Spencer Rattler as their quarterback against the San Francisco defense. Now they're going up against the Arizona Cardinals, who have injury issues of their own. We're going to have to see how many of their DBs who got injured in that game last week are actually going to play this week, because that was the reason why Carolina was able to make a comeback and get within the number and cover that spread. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Had the Cardinals not lost all 3 of their starting defensive backs, I don't think Carolina gets within that 7-point number that they were. And they don't cover the spread, which is a reason why Carolina was getting a lot of love. A lot of people are taking the points with Carolina. I think they were, according to the Action Network app, I think it was 70-30 tickets to on the Carolina Panthers because people don't want to lay that 5.5 with the Falcons. But so here we are with the top five. Thank goodness I don't have any of them, and all five of them were on my radar as of this afternoon, and hopefully I made the right decisions. I feel confident now that I'm off of them that I know that I'm contrarian in a few of these, and or at least one, and that I won't have to worry about them covering along with the other between 1,200 and 2,000 entries that are on them. But this is big. Let's see. Let's see. Now what time is it? It's 6:30. Maybe they've got the full list up. Let's go. No, not yet. But we do have the lines here, and I'll just go through these games quickly, and we'll start to go through my five selections. Now that we know the top five. Obviously, no Thursday night game. The Colts and Titans. I didn't want anything to do with this game just because. Oh, hang on. I almost forgot to take the lasagna out of the oven, but I smelled it. But the Colts and Titans. I didn't want anything to do with this game. Just because the Colts' first 2 weeks at home in the friendly confines of their stadium there, the Loud House. Yes, everybody's looked great, but they're not really getting pressure on the quarterback. Their offense is good, but Daniel Jones, this is not Daniel Jones' normal MO. What we've seen over the length of his career is that he can have good games, but that for the most part, he's a backup quarterback at best. So I really didn't want anything to do with this one because I just didn't know which way to go. That everybody's on the Titans. It's +4. I mean, this line, I think it's moved all the way to 4.5 at some places. I mean, look at this, 5.5, 4.5. So you were getting a bad number if you went with the +4 on the Titans. So I was staying off of that one. But let me see which one is my first pick, because I know these slides aren't in order. But my first selection, oh no, this is a different one. That's the next week's show. Nope. We're going the wrong way. My bad. My first selection, and a game I went back and forth on, I just gave some of my justifications why, is Jacksonville -1.5. And now knowing that the Houston Texans are in the top 5, this makes me feel even better because now I'm on the contrarian side, going with the home team, only laying 1.5. And a lot of the things that I saw from Jacksonville, I think they're going to be able to exploit Houston's defense. Again, they're playing out in the heat. Houston's on short rest because they had to play the primetime game against the Bucks on Monday night. They've got to travel over. I mean, it's not far to get to Jacksonville from Houston, but they're going to be outside in that humidity and that hot sun baking in Jacksonville. And I could see in the fourth quarter them wilting under that. And Jacksonville getting the dub. Their defense is good. They can get after the quarterback. They're opportunistic with turnovers, and we could see C.J. Stroud, under duress because this offensive line for Houston has not been good. They don't have a running game really. So basically, what everybody's doing is they're just going after the quarterback. They're playing the run on the way to the quarterback. You know what I mean? And if you can do that, and you can put your linebackers, free to roam, and your DBs and everybody are able to cover, they're not going to have a shot, even though they're getting back some guys that are injured this week. Let's take a look at this real quick, though. So, like I said, Seattle. This is the Survivor top 5. And here we go. Seattle is the number 1 pick. Number 1. If the look 6,655. If somehow New Orleans and Buffalo was number 2. There was a lot of people on that game, man. If Tua doesn't throw that pick and that game goes to overtime, there is some nervous people out there in Survivor world. But they got it, and they're moving on. So it feels good to be able to sit back on Sunday and Monday and not have to sweat it. But 6,655 entries are on Seattle. So if somehow Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Spencer Rattler, they've got Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. They've got some guys, man. If somehow, they're down too. It looks like Jackson Smith and Jigba might not play. We already know Charbonnet is out. Their offense could struggle, and if somehow Seattle can hang around, man, this could be the big one. 6,000 out of 16,000. That would basically bring it down to 10,000. That would be huge loss. Huge. Number 3 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2,330, and they are definitely at risk of losing. They're down 3 starting offensive linemen. That's tough. That the Jets with Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod, I don't turn the ball over Taylor. Using his legs, using his brain, getting the ball to the guys that, can make plays, the running game. I know Tampa Bay is good against the run normally, but this is 2,000 people on the Bucs. That's a tough spot with all those offensive injuries. That's just tough. Egabuke, he looks like he might play, but he's got a groin injury, which is easy to re-aggravate. We've got some games going here. South Carolina's winning 2018, and Washington State's cut it to a 7-point game, 24-17 Huskies. We've got some good games going on here in the CFB world. But again, Tampa Bay. Next up, Green Bay against Cleveland. Obviously, I don't think Cleveland's going to win. They're between 7.5 and 8.5 point dogs to the Packers. Packers are a very popular Super Bowl team right now. Defense is playing great. Offense is playing great. They're down some guys, so they could potentially. Cleveland's defense is good. Myles Garrett is a game wrecker. He's arguably the best defensive player in football right now, and the other defensive guys, they feed off of him. They because of all the attention he gets. Everybody else plays better. I don't think they're at risk to losing this game, but, freakier things have happened. And then number 5 is the Falcons, and obviously 5.5 point favorite going up against Carolina. This is kind of what, one of those games where, Atlanta should win this game. A lot of the public is not giving Atlanta the credit that they deserve because of last year. They still have the mindset that this is the team from last year. But these pass rushers that they've got now, they lost A.J. Terrell, their best DB. But these 2 pass rushers that they went out and got in the first round paid dividends last week when they shut the game down at the end, sacking J.J. McCarthy. And some of these young DBs they got playing back there with like Jesse Bates, who's a veteran and really good. It's just making this team a lot better defensively. So the Falcons should beat Carolina. I think Carolina's comeback against Arizona last week was fugazi. I think it was fake. It was only because Arizona's defense was missing three starting corners that they were able to start throwing the ball around. I think that the Carolina's offensive lineup, they replaced their whole left side, is going to struggle against the pass rush of the Falcons. They're going to get after Bryce Young, and I don't think Chuba Hubbard's going to have a very good game. So this is a good spot, I think, to take the Falcons. If you're going to use them, you want to use them in a spot where you think they're going to win. So number 5 selection for Circa Survivor is the Atlanta Falcons. And next up is the Grandissimo, the $100,000 winner takes all Survivor contest. The Seahawks, number 1 again. Bills, number 2. Packers. Then we go Chiefs, Bucks, Colts, Falcons, Niners. So the 19 entries on the Bills have already moved on to week 4. So obviously, again, they're sitting back fat and happy, watching everybody else rooting for the Saints, because that would just be devastating to lose. Basically, there's 68 entries now. To lose 20 entries in one week would change this. $6.9 million to the winner. This is winner takes all, just like the Circa Survivors winner takes all. There's rarely ever just one winner in Survivor, so. But that one there should be. So 6.9 probably going to one person. All right. So what do we have now? All right. So we've got our selections. Give me 1 second here. Let me do this. Let me just put this where it belongs. Oh, what am I doing? Let me just put this file in the slides so we can see all of the selections for week 3. So here we go. We got the week 3 selections. And again, we're not in the top 5. We're not in the top 5 for any of our selections. What happened? There we go. Save that one. All right. So the Colts. The Colts had just under 1,200 selections. So, I mean, there's almost 1,000 on the Titans. So it's definitely more than one person on the Titans. This I knew it was going to be a popular game, just because how much they've what they've done in the first 2 weeks. They've just been blowing people out. All right, so now it's all set up. But they got just under 1,146. So where are we at? I mean, the 1,200 was for the 49ers. A lot of them under 1,000. So yeah, this is like number 6 right here. And a lot of the sharps, a lot of the like people that I listen to or watch their podcasts or watch their YouTube shows. They were taking the Titans, one because the Colts pass rush doesn't really get pressure on the quarterback, and that this is just a good spot for the Titans. It's their back-to-back home games. Cam Ward hasn't looked terrible, but they also lost. I think it was Montez Sweat. They're really good defensive lineman, and he really is an important part of this defense because he takes pressure off of Jeffrey Simmons. Now they can double team Jeffrey Simmons, which makes them vulnerable to the run. So, again, I didn't like this game because of the lines change. It's gone to 4.5, 5 in some places, so you're getting a bad number on the Titans. So, no thank you. Again, my first selection. Whoops, wrong one. My first selection was the Jacksonville Jaguars. We talked about that. And now look, Texans, 1,445 against 554. So had I stuck with the Houston side, I would have not only been in the top 5, but I mean, there's nearly 1,000 or 900 more entries on the Texans. I mean, that's just such a good spot if Jacksonville can get this win at home. They're at home. Outdoors, putting the Texans outdoors. A lot of people are doing the, 0-2 teams as a dog. They win like 60% of the time or some shit like that. And I get it. I mean, it is a good trend. But the Jags really could have won that game last week. And I think they're going to get it done this week. Only laying 1.5. Basically just have to win the game. And I think they're going to do it. And I like this. I'm loving the fact that there's only 554 entries on the Jags. That is such a good spot to be in, as a contrarian pick, because we'll gain a point and all those people are going to lose out on getting a point. That'll just help us get closer to those top 100 spots. You know what I mean? Like I said, if we go 5-0 in a situation like that, we're going to be inside the top 1,000, maybe even inside the top 800 with 1 week to go. We have another good week in week 4, and suddenly we're right around the top 100. We're flirting with the money spots at that point, and that's a great spot to be in. The year that I Circa 3 when I won the first quarter prize, I finished 53rd in that contest, and I essentially, because I started out so well in the first 4 weeks, maintaining even when I had a negative week did knock me down that far, and I was able to like have a positive week the following week, move me back up, and kept me right in that spot where I ended up finishing within the top 100. Obviously, Circa 3, they only paid 50 spots. I missed the money by half a point. 52 entries got paid. I finished 53rd. Half a point out of the money. I went 2-3 week 18. Sucked ass. Thankfully, I had that big check from the first quarter. But so my first selection, Jags. Loving the fact that we only got 554 entries. Moving on to the second selection, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And actually, I'm shocked that there's more entries on the Steelers than there are on the Patriots. According to the odds here on Action Network, let me see if I can pull this up here. The ticket count was like, it's saying the bet percentage is like 80-20, 4-1 on the Patriots. Now I don't have how much money's going on the Steelers, but I'm actually shocked there's more. But it's 100 spots and neither one of them even hit 1,000. So A lot of people didn't want anything to do with this game, and I don't blame them, but I was taking Pittsburgh under the assumption that they were going to be the least popular team. And I was also taking it under the assumption that, I'm seeing this here 83% of the. We got a touchdown. We got a touchdown, Indiana. 40 yards, too. Boy, oh boy. Just when you think Illinois was going to get back in this game, they give up a 40-yard rushing touchdown. But so, yeah, I'm happy that it's not very popular, but I am surprised that the Steelers are the more popular of the two teams just because I expected the Patriots to get a little bit more love than this. But, again, defensive backs for the Patriots have not been good. They still haven't gotten Christian Gonzalez back. And the linebackers for the Patriots lead the league in missed tackles. I was watching Gruden's breakdown on YouTube earlier, last night actually, and it was one of the reasons why it kind of swung me to taking the Pittsburgh Steelers is even though their defense hasn't played that great, we know they can be, even though they got some injuries. They've got the depth behind their guys isn't there, but they've got enough guys to be good, and we know that they can they can get after the quarterback. It's just they haven't done it in the first 2 weeks, but this is also basically the preseason. So let's see what Mike Tomlin can do against Vrabel. I mean, the penalties for the Patriots are killers, and if they don't clean those up, they're just costing themselves field position and possibilities at first downs. I think Aaron Rodgers and his passing game, I think he'll be able to move the ball on this defense, and I think they'll be able to run the ball and with Jaylen Warren and the broken tackles and stuff like that, I think is going to play a part. So I like the Steelers in this one, laying the 1.5 on the road. Only 840 selections against 744, so not too bad in that regard. And again, not in the top 5, so I like that. Next up, a team that I normally don't use, a team that got me the dub last week, and I'm not going to get off the train just yet. I don't believe. Now, the Falcons are 1,100 against 804, so pretty equal on both sides. I know a lot of people are taking the Panthers. They're another team that's getting somewhere around, I think it said 70% of the bets. Yeah, 67% of the bets are going on the Panthers because people don't like laying big spreads. They don't like laying more than a field goal. 5.5 is a funky number, but I like it because 6 points in overtime gets me the win. And I think this could be a 6-point to 7-point win for the Falcons. People aren't giving the Atlanta Falcons their due because they weren't a very good team. They lost to Carolina at the end of last year when they could have made the playoffs. But the Panthers have not played well. Their offense is not clicking. Their wide receivers are not living up to par other than Tet McMillan. And he's only putting up garbage time yards like against Arizona last week when all their DBs went out. That's when they really started moving the ball around. They just had to replace, I believe, their left tackle and left guard, like one whole side of their offensive line just got replaced for the Panthers. And I think this Jalen Walker and James Pierce are really making a difference for this Falcons defense. They are putting pressure on the quarterback, and the Panthers do not respond well. They're just because, first of all, Bryce Young can't see off of the offensive line. He's got to throw in those windows between the offensive linemen. And if you can clog them up, you can get after them and sack them. And Chuba Hubbard, he's decent, but if the offensive line can't block and if there's no respect for the passing game, then Atlanta's defense will be able to shut this Panthers offense down. And I don't think the Panthers defense can stop Atlanta's offense. I mean, they've got arguably the best running back in football right now, or one of, and Bijan, and then Algier is a good 1-2 punch. They've got good wide receivers, and Penix is playing great, and the offensive line's playing good. They're keeping Penix upright for the most part, and they can run the ball. And their screen game to the running backs is working excellent. So I just think the Falcons are going to show that they're a better team. I know they're going on the road, outdoors. It's going to be more than likely hot in Carolina, but I just think the Falcons are a much better team. And laying 5.5, I wasn't sure if this was going to be popular, but it looks like enough people are on the Panthers that it makes it worthwhile for me to take this team. And I'm riding with the team that won for me last week. I mean, I was having a hard time deciding. Normally, I don't use the Falcons because they are my team, but I really think they're going to win this game. And if I think they're going to win, then, and obviously in the Survivor, they were the fifth most popular team, so people think they're going to win. If you think they're going to win, then you got to think they're going to cover. Now, yeah, the Panthers might have an opportunity to backdoor it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm more than happy to lay the 5.5 of the Falcons and root for a 7-point win, maybe a 10-point win. Bryce Young's going to give us some turnovers, maybe some cheap points. We got Pinheiro, or Romo. They signed their new kicker and got rid of Younghoe Koo. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But so my third pick is the Atlanta Falcons, -5. My fourth pick, this one took some flip-flopping, because I was going to go with Washington. Because even though I know the lines moved from 3.5, it went to 2.5, then went back to 3 because of Marcus Mariota. I was thinking about taking Washington, but I really thought the Raiders would be the contrarian side here, but I guess people are trying to take the extra value in the line with the 3.5, 2.5. So I get it. But the Raiders defense hasn't played horribly. They've they've been good against the run to this point. We'll see what they can do against the Commanders. Obviously, the Commanders lost Eckler, and they lost Jaden Daniels. I don't have confidence in Mariota. I don't think he's horrible, but I think the Raiders are going to keep this close. I think their defense will do enough. Max Crosby, will maybe make a play or two on Mariota to get the Raiders an extra possession. I think Austin Gentry might have a breakout game. They lost Wise, one of their good defensive linemen for Washington last week, and we've been hearing it all week that they need to give him more carries. So I think we might see an extra now the offensive line for the Raiders has got to get their heads out of their asses. They've looked horrible. I watched some clips of them, man, running into each other and all kinds of shit, but I think they're going to clean it up. Brock Bowers did not look good last week, but he's back healthy, and I think he'll expose some of these linebackers for Washington. And hopefully Geno has a better game than last week. I mean, one of those interceptions was a fluky one that was off a deflection, but he's got to be better in the red zone. I mean, he's got receivers in Bowers and Myers and this rookie Thurston, and they've got Gentry, so they've just got to figure it out, put it together. Again, it's only week 3. So I'm taking the 3.5 points. I know it's another East Coast game. They've gone back and forth from the East Coast to Vegas and now back to the East Coast. So I'm sure that's not great, but I also think it's a good way to have some team building with these guys when you're on the road like that. You're in the hotel together, you're spending time together. I think this will be some bonding. And the Commanders, even though maybe they'll win this one, I'm willing to bet that it won't be by more than 3 with Marcus Mariota. So my fourth pick for the Raiders, for the Circa Millions, is the Raiders plus 3.5. And now my fifth and final selection for week 3 is the Baltimore Ravens -4.5. I had them last week minus the 11.5, and they covered against the Cleveland Browns. Yes, that was a tight game. The score may be been a little bit misleading because a lot of those points were scored in the fourth quarter to put that game away. But that's who the Ravens are. They are, in my eyes, if not the best team in football, they're the number 2 team in football. And although the Lions put up over 50 points against the Bears last week, it was the Bears. And the Bears defense was down their best players. They have not looked good, and the offense just couldn't get anything going, so they kept giving the ball back to Detroit's offense. And then once the defense got exhausted, all those speedsters for the Lions, and all those slant routes and everything, and was just too much for Chicago, and they kind of threw the towel in. but I don't think they're going to do that against the Ravens. We got 953 selections to 519, so Ravens are the popular side here, so that kind of gives me a little concern. But I'm confident in Lamar and Derrick Henry in this defense. Now, they did lose an Abuke, and I'm not sure if Van Noy's going to play for their defense, but the Lions are going to be without Marcus Davenport, and I don't know if they're going to. They played the Baltimore Ravens played the Lions 2 years ago. Now, they didn't have all the pieces that they have now, but they had a lot of them. They still had Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn as their coordinators, and the Ravens beat their asses. They were all over Jared Goff. We know Jared Goff does not do good with pressure, and I think Harbaugh and this defense is going to put pressure on them. And again, Lamar and Derrick Henry are just this combination that you just can't practice for. And he's so good against the NFC, and he's so good, Lamar is, against teams in the regular season, that this is another team that got it done for me last week. I'm not going to kick them to the curb after 1 week. I'm going to ride with them until they buck me off. And -4.5, I know it's a funky number because the Lions could certainly get within this, at the end of the game and have an opportunity to, get the win and not get it, but lose by 4 or 3. But I'm just willing to ride with Lamar and Derrick Henry for another week, because again, they were going up against arguably one of the better defenses, at least in Cleveland. And yeah, they struggled early, but they got it done, and that's what they do. They beat Buffalo for 3 quarters, and it only took a bunch of really lucky plays and just incredible plays by Josh Allen for them to lose that game by a point. So they're at home. It's in prime time. Give me Lamar. Give me Derrick Henry. Give me the Ravens +4.5. And those are my 5 selections for week 3 of the Circa Millions contest. We got Jacksonville -1.5. We have Pittsburgh -1.5. We have the Falcons -5.5. We have the Vegas Raiders +3.5. And Baltimore -4.5. So I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4 early games. So by the afternoon slate, I'll know where I'm standing, and then I got Monday Night Football to wait it out. I haven't put together the parlay yet. I'll release it on X. So there it is. Those are my 5. And here's our top 5 selections here. And let's see what we got for the Circa Survivor. So, again, top 5 picks we've already gone over, with Seattle being a big one. I mean, they're double the second one. Buffalo's already won, moved on, so 33-62 have advanced to week 4. Bucks in a very precarious game with their injuries on the offensive line. I really think this is a spot I would not have liked to use the Bucks in this one, but they're number 3. Packers number 4 at 18-17, and then the Falcons, who, if you think they're going to win, you got to think they're going to cover, and I think they're going to win, and so do 1,179 people willing to put their chances at $18.5 million on the line with Penix and the Falcons. But then we move on to the 6th pick, which is the Colts. Not surprising, taking on the Titans. I really thought this would be a more popular team, but I think some people are seeing this as a potential letdown spot for the Colts. But you still got 714. That's $714,000 worth of entries there. Then the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football taking on the Giants. The Giants team that just scored 40, whatever it is, points against the Cowboys. So 6-point spread. But the Chiefs are getting 676 selections that they'll just win the game outright. Then it drops down significantly. After these seven, I mean, you only have 102 entries on the Vikings, which I don't blame them because I would not want to bet $18.5 million on Carson Wentz getting it done. The guy can make a great play and he can make a terrible play back to back. I've seen it when he played for the Colts. Man, Indiana is just putting it on Illinois here. They're going in for another touchdown. It's still only the third quarter. And they're up 42-10. Commanders, 96 selections. Where's the Raiders at? Is there anyone on the Raiders? 4. Who are the Seahawks playing? They're playing the Saints. Look, 2 entries. Man, what a difference it would make if somehow Seattle can get that one done. Cardinals, or what do we got? We got the Bills. Who was the Dolphins? Only one person was on the Dolphins, so not a lot of faith in Miami on that one. Bucks playing. Who are they playing again? I keep forgetting. Oh, the Jets. Easy to forget. Man, again, another score by Indiana. Wow. Who else we got? So where's the Jets? Is there anyone on the Jets? 13 people didn't pick a selection. How do you do that? Again, after the first week when all those people, how do 13 people miss in week 3? Are you dead? Are you in jail? I mean, seriously. DM me on X. I'll put the damn pick in for you if you missed your deadline with your proxy. They'll do it too, though. The proxy will put it in right into the last minute if you contact them. Gators scored 13-7. 13-7. The Florida Gators just hanging around this Miami Hurricanes team. This is not a spot you want to be in if you're the Miami Hurricanes. Do not give this team any motivation. Florida's already basically out of the playoff scenario. Don't let them ruin your season. Who else we got? So the Bucks. Did I see? There's no one on the Jets. Not a single entry on the Jets. Packers, Browns. Do we have any brave souls who decided to take the Cleveland Browns? We do not. Falcons. Do we have any brave souls? 3. 3 people going up against 1,179 selections on the Falcons and Panthers. Then we go to the Colts, Titans. We've got 2, like we said. Chiefs, 676. Anyone brave enough to take the New York Giants Sunday night? No, they did not. Any one of these guys. I mean, you could have put them on the Giants or something instead of wasting these picks. I'll never understand that. I mean, I did miss a week in one of the Circa Millions, like Circa 5, when I took some medicine for a migraine and slept past the submission time. Now I put them in the morning. I just don't release it till the afternoon. Vikings, 102 selections going against the Bengals, right? Yeah, where are the Bengals? Anyone? Anyone on the Bengals? No. So nobody is believing in Jake Browning that he's gonna get it done in Minneapolis. Commanders and Raiders. I think we showed this one. Yeah, 4-96. But yeah, there's just so few on these ones down here. 49ers. There's only 67 entries. Cardinals 1. So that'd be great if Arizona got that one done. Chargers taking on the Broncos. I don't see anyone on Denver. So not a lot of love on Denver, although people could be saving them. Could be the reason why they didn't use them. Texans, who are taking on the Jags. So we've got 49 on the Texans and 9 on the Jags. So more love for Houston, and they were a top 5 in the million. So I'm Trevor Lawrence all the way. Let's go. Clemson lost today, man. They need to. He needs to. And ETN, they need to. Did they just intercept that? Did Florida just intercept that? They need to redeem themselves after that loss by Clemson. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Bears. He's got 43 on the Cowboys, 13 on the Bears. So a win by Chicago, who I think has a real shot at winning this game, especially with the secondary injuries against the Cowboys, could take out 43 entries. Baltimore Ravens, 30 people brave enough to go against the Lions. Nobody's on the Lions. They're probably saving them for the Thanksgiving weekend. That's why you don't see any of them. But still, 30 people think that Baltimore is going to win the game outright, and we know if teams that win normally cover the spread. So hopefully they do, because I've got them in the millions. Steelers, 20 people on the Steelers and 11 on the Patriots. So not a lot of love for these two teams, but very equal. So one side's got to win, because if it's a tie, they both lose. More on the Steelers than on the Patriots. Sure, a lot of people weren't very confident after the Steelers lost last week, but do they lose that game if that rookie doesn't leave that ball laying in the end zone? We'll never know, but it certainly made a difference in that game. We've talked about the Bears, Patriots. Now the Eagles taking on the Rams. We've got 9 and 2. 9 on the Eagles, 2 on the Rams. I wouldn't want to risk it in this game. This could go either way. It's big reason why I left the game alone in the millions, is because either one of these teams can win this game. So why do that when there's so many better spots that you could choose from? Jags, obviously, with Houston. Raiders with Washington, with the Commanders. Panthers against the Falcons, top 5 pick. Titans against the Colts, number 6. And then, Rams, we've already discussed against the Eagles, not very many. Saints only have 2, but the Seahawks got 6,655. That's nearly 40% of the entire field. Boy, that would be devastating. And we had the one eliminated with the Dolphins. We've got 1 entry on the Cardinals and 13 no picks. 13 people who just threw their chances at $18.5 million away. So we'll be rooting for the Saints. Not that I'm in the Survivor anymore. My entry would have lost week 1 with the Patriots, but I'll be rooting for them anyway, because I like to see chaos. Let's move on to this final slide here of the Grandissimo. Again, this is the $100,000 buy-in Survivor contest. There were 69 entries to start, $6.9 million to the winner. 1 entry was eliminated week 2 with the Steelers. Again, Seahawks are the most popular pick with nearly 30%. Bills had 19 selections, and they've made it on to week 4. Let me go Packers 8, Chiefs 8, Bucks 6, Colts 4, Falcons 2, and 49ers 1. So we don't have anyone going head-to-head. But, again, if the Seahawks were to lose, that would take out a third of the field. If any of these teams lose here, it's a big deal when there's only 68 entries left. And this is a winner-take-all contest. So certainly keeping an eye on this. This is the inaugural year. Obviously, first time $100,000 buy-in. That's a little bit out of my league, but certainly like talking about it and keeping an eye on it. It's I want to see if it goes all the way to the end, or if they somebody wins it, or if they chop. We'll see. I imagine they'll probably chop if they can get down to like 2 people, but I wouldn't. You don't bet that much money. I mean, obviously turning $100,000 into what is it, 6.9? So it's 3.45 million. Not too bad. Pay your taxes, you're gonna have about 2.5 million left, 2.25 million left. So, but all right, this Indiana game is getting out of control. South Carolina and Missouri is good. It's 26-20. And then this Florida Miami game is just hanging around. Just hanging around. 13-7. 13-7. Anyone out there sweating? If anybody out there sweating Miami. Are we back? Yeah, we're back now. All right. I had to reset the microphone. It was got a little funky there for a second. But I got to eat some of my lasagna. I'm starving. All right. Let me see something here for a second. Fourth quarter. All right, we switched it up. That Indiana game is over. Illinois, they're uh, they're gonna have to work their way back up. Uh-oh. Florida losing the ball on fourth down. It was a good tackle. Looks like Missouri might be putting this game away. Wow, they stopped them. Miami stopped them. Number 8 Texas putting an ass whooping on Sam Houston right now. 48-0. The Gators defense has come to play. Oh, Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Nothing. 3 yards maybe? Got him. Oh, what a play by South Carolina. And they're going to get the ball back. So Miami up 6. 13 minutes, 20 seconds to go. And Florida Gators have just gotten the ball back inside. It's right around the 20-yard line. 18, so. Man, Miami's offense has gone stagnant, and Florida's offense is starting to do something here. And in the meantime, South Carolina just forced a 4th down and 14. It looks like Missouri's coming out for a field goal. If they make this, it'll be a 9-point game. That basically puts the game away, so I get it. But, man, 40-yarder field goal kick by a college kicker's it's no gimme. That's for sure. The guys in the pros can't even make them with consistency. And he nailed it. Right down the middle. And that just about does it. Number 23, Missouri, is going to win this game, barring some unforeseen catastrophe. They're up 9 points with 134 to go in the game. Great battle by South Carolina, but they're on the road, and what are you going to do? But, man, if the Gators can pull off the upset here, woo, be the upset of the weekend. Mm. The Washington Huskies just scored 51-24 with the extra point coming. They just put that game away. There's still 10 minutes in that game, but Washington State's done. You really got to love college football because you just never know when these unranked teams are just going to get it in their system that they want to win. And you know the players on the Gators in Miami, a lot of these guys played either with each other in high school or against each other in high school. So there's definitely some in-state bragging rights at stake here. Mm. I did not expect Illinois to just get beat down like that. 56-10. And there's still 13 and a half minutes to go in that game. All right. Florida's moving the ball on the ground now. Are the Miami Hurricanes defensive linemen starting to get a little gassed here in the fourth quarter? Okay. 3rd and 1. Ooh, he got stuffed. Damn. 3rd and 1, and Miami's defense comes through with the stop. And they're going to punt. Still just under 11 and a half minutes, or 11:55 and change to go. Mm. Yeah, your defense is playing good for Florida, so you gotta punt here, and hopefully you flip field position, but doesn't look like it. Ooh, did he touch that? Yeah, they're gonna kick catch interference. Oh, they picked up the flag. Picking up the flag. Well, I feel better. Ready to go for this final fourth quarter. I don't think there's any big games uh, coming up after this one. I mean, you've got Michigan State and USC. Okay, that's a good one because they're both 3-0. So you got one good game in the late slate, a Big Ten game with Michigan State going out to South Central Los Angeles to take on the Fighting Trojans of USC. And there it is. Missouri wins. Whew. All right. I think we're going to have a. I mean, they're in Miami, but, Hard Rock Stadium, it isn't the Orange Bowl. So Wyoming, Colorado just kicked off. For those who don't know, I know I grew up in Florida. The Buccaneers were the team. They weren't very good. And some guy that played defensive back for Florida State was like the most flamboyant, boisterous player I'd seen as a young kid. And then he went to the Atlanta Falcons, Deion Sanders, and I became a Falcons fan because of him. Yeah, he left a couple years later, but my allegiance to the Falcons is stuck. So I want to see Deion do good, but Colorado, they're 1-2 this year and not doing very well. They don't have the recruits that they had last year. Mm. Second and 7. Florida's defense is going to have to come up with another stop. All right, dump off to the back, shake and bake. He's out of bounds, about 2 yards shy of the first down. So 3rd and 2. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. They need a negative play here. Look for the quarterback option. He handed it off up the middle, and they got the first down. Easily. 6 yards. Mm. And don't forget to join us Thursday night. Seattle Seahawks heading to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. We'll have the NFL contest show, Week 4 line release in the Thursday Night Football watch party. Join us at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, just after kickoff. We'll be going over the Week 4 lines, as well as the watching the game and any bets we might have. Obviously, we don't use Thursday Night Football games in the Circa Millions, so we won't be using Seattle and Arizona, but depending on how these games go this Sunday, we could have some interesting, lines for this game. Man, Indiana scored again. Mm, mm, mm. Miami back 1st and 10, the 23-yard line. And now they just moved the ball. 2nd and 5 to the 17. And they're just killing this clock. It's been 5 minutes at least, 5.5 minutes. Mm. This thing's ahead. No, they're going to call timeout. Timeout, Miami. We could take a look at this list again. Oh, man. I like the fact that I'm not in the top 5. I like the fact that I'm not in the top 5. But a couple of my selections are the more popular side, so it does give me concern. But you just have to see the way it shakes out. All you can do is put your 5 picks in and hope for the best. When all hope is lost, all that's left is relief. So it's a relief once you've made your 5 picks, and now you just got to let the players play and let the games happen the way they happen. Mm. I wonder who the big loser is going to be in Survivor. Who's the big loser going to be? Colts? Falcons? Hope not. Seahawks? I mean, Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Let me see something real quick. So the backup quarterback to Sam Darnold is Drew Lock, and then behind him is Jalen Milrow. I mean, man, that's a lot of faith in Sam Darnold that he's gonna make it through this game. I mean, they're missing Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love. They're nickelback and free safety. They're doubtful along with Charbonnet and Jackson Smith and Jigba questionable. I really think the Seahawks team could be vulnerable. I'll be rooting for the Saints. And the Bucks. I could certainly see the Bucks losing with all those injuries. All right, we're back. Ooh. Inside the 10, down to the 6.